A crazy statistic, 32% of all the black belt medalists from the 2023 World Championships are now trapped in exclusive deals. And get this, these deals pay them less than an Uber driver makes in a single weekend. Just think about that. Years of sacrifice to be the best in the world for less than a part-time job. Craig Jones is screaming that these contracts are building a giant monopoly that will stop the best fighters from ever fighting the best. It's robbing the fans of the biggest matches we could ever see, and he has proof. So how are promoters tricking these world-class athletes? Craig calls it the Bermuda Triangle of BJJ money. They offer three things: a tiny bit of show money, a win bonus, and the ultimate fantasy, exposure. And once an athlete gets trapped in this triangle, all their money just disappears. It's the oldest trick in the book. They fly athletes in economy, pack them into shared Airbnbs, and then bam, shove a contract in their face that says they can't compete anywhere else for months. And why do they sign it? It's simple. They have bills to pay. And today, Instagram likes can feel like real money. But Craig says it perfectly. Fame won't pay for knee surgery in 10 years. That online hype doesn't pay for your doctor, your food, or your family's future. It's a harsh truth athletes learn when it's too late. They sign because they feel like they have to, trading their entire future for a tiny bit of cash right now.
Don't be tricked by branding or brand association. If any organization is trying to sell you the value of being attached to their name, they're trying to fuck you. They're trying to pay you less money because they're talking about the worth of the association with them. I know plenty of people with names and faces on posters that have no money at all. And that's the worst position to be in life, is to be famous. People think you have money, but you really have no money. That's like driving a Ferrari with a small dick.
But this is where it gets insane. The real trap is the exclusivity clause. It's not on the first page, it's buried deep on page 4 or 5. This one sentence says you can't compete in any other event, not even a small charity fundraiser, without written permission. Your entire career is now controlled by one company, and it gets crazier. If you miss weight, get a skin infection, or get a small injury and have to pull out of one match, you lose everything. The contract shows zero mercy.
Please, for the love of God, read your contracts. I cannot emphasize this enough. If a fight promoter sends you a contract, please take the time to read it. In other combat sports, they have the luxury of managers. Those managers will read the contracts, hopefully, and make sure you're not being fucked over, just so they can fuck you over themselves. No, just kidding. But you need to read the contracts. The golden rule in business is to not trust the other party. Some of the least trustworthy people in all of business would be fight sports promoters. So please, if you don't have a manager, read the contract yourself or find someone more intelligent than you to read the contract to make sure they're not sneaking in any stipulations that you have not previously verbally agreed upon.
Here is Craig's biggest fear, a UFC-style takeover. We all saw it happen in MMA, where one company now controls everything. If every huge star in BJJ gets locked into one or two leagues, what happens? The matchmakers pick all the fights, they set all the pay, and they control the entire story. The sport becomes boring and predictable. Without the insane dream matches between promotions, athletes have zero leverage. They can't ask for more money because there's nowhere else to go. And what do we lose? We lose the incredible chaos that makes jiu-jitsu so fun to watch. We miss out on seeing the absolute best fight everyone. Craig reminds us that it took boxing 20 years to escape the Don King era that almost killed the sport. BJJ doesn't have 20 years to figure this out. It needs more fights and more chaos, not more control.
I think if the UFC come in and they have a monopoly. Yep. They control, they sign all the athletes. Then they have all the leverage. You know what I mean? Like if they crush all the competition, you have nowhere else to go. What incentive do they have to pay you more? That's my concern with this. And it's like, I don't mind the UFC entering as another person in this field. Like obviously we have Flow Grappling, One Championship, UFC. And while those still exist, you can negotiate your contract very well. in terms of like the MMA world, right? Really like if we look at like Contender Series and stuff, it's like they've owned the sport that good. Their brand is that strong. It's like kids' lifelong dreams to be in the UFC champion. They've got such a stranglehold on it that they'll bypass better money elsewhere because the UFC's their dream, even if it doesn't pay anywhere near as good. Like, I mean, like the Contender Series contracts and stuff are absolutely abysmally low for what is actually happening on the level it's happening. The amount of work you've had to do to get there, and that's your entry level deal, I think is pretty brutal. So like when I look at that standard, I do hope that it wouldn't end up like that in jiu-jitsu. The athletes and also understand the consequences of what could happen if a big entity like that entered a world of grappling. They could potentially kill it. Like I don't think the sport is at a level yet where someone's gonna, like the UFC's going to, like UFC's, they don't want to lose money on this. Yeah. I kind of feel like if they don't start getting returns very fast, people are going to be kicked out, like spoken to negatively, like Claudia spoke to Kennedy, you know what I mean? Like I think, truthfully, like I'm not sure where their heads are. I think they're having a lot of trouble signing guys. Like again, I love David Garmo, but he fought for the UFC BJJ 205-pound belt. I haven't checked the rankings, but he's not even top 10. I don't believe top 15. He's a great grappler, but like to have a title match between Mason and David Garmo, and I think Garmo's not even in the right weight division. He's significantly smaller, and I'm just like, is that hurting the UFC's brand to say that we're the premier martial arts organization in the world, but you don't have the best jiu-jitsu athletes? Yeah, I think they should have made their run at this way long ago. Now, one's got athletes, Flow's got athletes, and they're trying to like pick up the scraps and they try and sell you. This is the hardest sell ever. This is the craziest thing. I couldn't believe I was hearing this in meetings with these guys. They're like, the UFC brand, we're gonna flash you on screen at a UFC broadcast. You're gonna gain so much from us. It's like, man, if you're talking about exposure, that doesn't sound like you're talking about paying me very much money. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like those sort of things really, really rub me the wrong way. So I'm just like, I would hope that these guys see what the ultimate goal is. Like obviously it could look like I'm a UFC hater because and I rightfully should be for copying the event, but like I am primarily concerned with what they're gonna do in this sort of area.
But wait, there's another side to this. Athletes like Mikey Musumeci say exclusivity is a good thing because it guarantees investment. He says promotions like One Championship spend millions of dollars on amazing production and marketing to make BJJ look incredible. And how can they spend that much money if there's no guarantee they'll get it back? Mikey's point is simple. You can't expect a company to pay for billboards, then let you fight for the rival show next door for free. From a business side, it makes sense. They're investing in you, so they want to protect you.
I think exclusivity in jiu-jitsu is important if the organization could actually back what they say, right? If they could give you a certain amount of matches, a salary for those matches, they give you the marketing to grow your brand and exposure, like long-term, like growing your brand, then I think it's important. If they can't do that, then I think it's horrible. I think that exclusivity saves athletes from pulling out of events from other events. You know, I think that's very important because what stops some millionaire giving an Australian money to poach people from an event so then they can't do their event?
But Craig fires back with a huge point. He says real pro sports pay guaranteed salaries. You get a baseline income no matter what. What these BJJ contracts offer aren't salaries. They are lottery tickets disguised as contracts. They give you a tiny chance at a huge prize, but lock you down so you can't make money anywhere else. For almost every athlete, it's a losing bet.
Like, look at Charles Oliveira, one of the highest paid, one of the most beloved. It's not about winning or losing, because we're kind of discussing how hard it is to get two jiu-jitsu guys to face off against each other because they're so worried about losing. And he was trying, like, obviously the UFC, people were trying to tell me that no, like, we want to build a league where winning and losing doesn't matter. It's just, like, if you're an exciting guy, we're going to keep putting you in. And I think, however, what they don't understand, what UFC didn't understand was that our primary source of income would be BJJ Fanatics instructionals. Like, where the problem is in the business model they're thinking is that they would have to pay us significantly more than, like, they would have to guarantee me a pretty damn good salary to the point that I would just go out and throw down like a Charles Oliveira, where it's like finish or get finished. If you could pay guys enough in grappling to do that, you would have a successful product. I just don't know how you make that transition because BJJ Fanatics pays infinitely more for me on a regular basis than these super fight organizations do.
Let's look at Effion Davies, an absolutely amazing grappler. She signs a huge deal with UFC Fight Pass. They make her a cool promo video, and then literally nothing happens. She sat on the bench for 7 months waiting for a fight. In that same time, her friends who weren't in exclusive deals were out there crushing it. They competed in 3 different events, tripled their Instagram followers, and tripled their money. They were actually building their careers. Craig calls these exclusive signings selfish. Not to be mean, but because every time a top athlete signs one, it gives the monopoly more power. It proves their broken system works, making it harder for the next athlete to say no. The power of all the athletes working together dies one signature at a time, all because someone chose a little bit of money now over the future of the sport. Here's another giant difference between BJJ and pro sports: agents. In the UFC, you have super agents negotiating million-dollar deals, fighting for healthcare, and protecting their fighters. In BJJ, most athletes are representing themselves, or even worse, they're hiring a friend who watched one YouTube video on contract law. It's insane. Craig jokes that BJJ management is just an athlete texting their coach, "Hey, does this look good?" while staring at a 9-page legal document. And the result is that an estimated 85% of athletes don't even know they have the power to cross out the no-compete line. They just assume it's permanent. They sign away their freedom because nobody is there to tell them they can fight back.
What you're being exclusive, right? They better give you a certain amount of fights, they better give you good money, they better give you the opportunities to compete so you're not stuck without matches and just tied down. Now, I can only speak from my experience as a competitor, right? I did the IBJJF circuit my whole life, then I did Who's Number One, then I did one championship, then I did UFC now. And why I wanted to go to the UFC was I saw the good in all of the things I did in my life, and I wanted to change that for the next generation. So we get the good of IBJJF. What's the good of IBJJF? All the best compete with each other in one place, right? Like when you're a world champion in IBJJF, you fight the best. Like my whole career in the gi, I'm a gi person. Bruno Malfacini, Diego Pato, all these guys I competed with and won in my career. Now, IBJJF has that element, but there's no money in IBJJF or competing. So you win worlds, you're like, okay, I'm getting no followers, I'm getting nothing, right? Yep. Then I went to Who's Number One, and it was a little better. Like we started having like belts, titles, and it started becoming more of that format where you could actually build divisions and things. And it was really cool how Flow Grappling did that at the time. Then I went to one championship and they took it to another level with more legitimacy, like drug testing, certain things like that. And then I wanted to go to UFC to combine all these things together in one, where we have a platform where there's multiple events. UFC wants to do 8 to 12 events a year. They want to have drug testing. They want to have sustainability long-term.
So what can athletes do? Craig isn't just complaining, he's giving us the solution. Here are 3 simple things every athlete needs to demand. First, limit exclusivity to 90 days, max. If a promotion wants you for longer, they need to pay you a monthly salary for the time you're on the bench. It's a fair trade. Second, demand medical coverage for at least 6 months after the event. Injuries don't just disappear the next day. This isn't a bonus, it's a basic necessity for a long career. And third, never sign away your image rights. This means you can still sell your own videos, run your own seminars, and wear your own sponsors' logos. It's your brand. Craig has seen it over and over. When an athlete actually asks for these 3 things, the promotion caves. They want the talent more than they want the fight. The power is there, you just have to use it. If you're watching this and you think jiu-jitsu athletes deserve to get paid, smash that like button. And for our next challenge, I want you to subscribe and comment the absolute craziest, most ridiculous contract clause you've ever heard of. Let's expose these things together. You might be watching this thinking, this doesn't affect me, I just watch the fights. Wrong. It absolutely affects you. It's all fun and games until your favorite grappler, the one you follow on Instagram, can't accept a $50,000 challenge because he's contractually frozen. He's stuck on the sidelines because of a piece of paper. Craig swears that every time a dream match gets canceled because of a contract, BJJ loses casual fans. People who just want to see awesome fights get bored and leave. The sport's chance to get huge dies because of these exclusive deals. Fans want the best versus the best. That's it. If contracts stop that, the contracts are killing the sport. But here's the good news. The next generation is getting smarter. Kids coming up from Purple Belt are hiring agents before they even get an apartment. Craig's advice to them is simple. If you're under 23, take short, flexible deals. Use your early career to blow up your social media and build a huge following. Then once you have insane numbers and everyone knows your name, you can sell yourself to the highest bidder. He saw a 20-year-old turn down what looked like a big $15,000 exclusive offer. Why? 6 months later, after building his brand, that same kid signed a non-exclusive deal for $75,000. That's 5 times more money just because he was smart and patient. So where does jiu-jitsu go from here? There are 2 possible futures. Option A, the nightmare. One big league controls everything. You get paid $1,000 to show up, and your boss can fine you for tweeting a meme they don't like. It's a world with no freedom and no money. Option B, the dream. An open market with bidding wars for talent. Promotions are competing to pay you more. Sponsors are fighting to put their logos on your shorts. It's a world where athletes have all the power and make all the money. Craig believes athletes will choose option B as soon as they stop accepting option A. History proves him right. MMA fighters only started making real money after legends like Randy Couture fought huge public battles over their contracts. Their fight paved the way for today's fighters. BJJ athletes have that exact same power. Craig Jones isn't asking for your pity. He's demanding everyone get smarter. Every single contract that gets signed pushes the sport toward one of 2 futures: a boring monopoly or a crazy competitive marketplace. Read your contracts, negotiate, share what you know, and demand to be treated better. If you do that, the next generation of grapplers might actually be able to buy a house with their prize money. So I'm asking you, whose side are you on? The contract that muzzles stars, or the beautiful chaos that lets them scrap anywhere? Tell me in the comments, and while you're there, go read your last gym waiver again. Because I promise you, those paragraphs age like milk.